Welcome to Om Times TV, a division of Om Times Media and Broadcasting. Welcome to Ascending with Venus Castleberg, a space where we explore the journey of spiritual awakening, expanding your consciousness and raising your frequency to create a whole new world. We'll dive into the possibilities that open up when you choose to follow the whispers and trust your inner knowing. Each episode is designed to guide you in expanding your awareness, tuning into your intuition, and discovering the magic of your life every day. We'll talk about living aligned with your soul's purpose, going beyond limitations, and creating a life and a world worth celebrating. You are here to embrace who you truly are and step into the infinite potential that's waiting for you. Let's ascend together. And now, here is your host, Venus Castleberg.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is so nice to be here with you. If you are live with me, please say hello. I do love talking to somebody out there. And before I forget, because I often do, if you have questions or would like facilitation or coaching through something that's coming up for you, you can call in at 202-570-7057. I'm happy to be here for you and to serve you in whatever way I can. These calls are free and they are for you. So what can I contribute to you today is a great question to ask. I was thinking about today's topic, and I'll be honest, this isn't an easy topic to talk about. It may involve some tears on my part, maybe on some of your part if you're watching now or in the future. But we've all lost loved ones. I actually have lost 3 dads. And my adopted father died when I was 18, and I was really close to him. And when he died, I literally spent 10 years, hi Kimberly, welcome, in grief and sadness. And every time I would think about him, I was brought up with some religion, not a lot, but a little bit, and enough to be like afraid that maybe my dad, who was really kind to me and really loved me a lot, didn't really like people that much. So he wasn't necessarily a nice person to other people. So I didn't know if that meant maybe he was going to hell. At that time, I believed in those things. And again, I'm never here to change your belief system. If I say something and it doesn't ring true for you, throw it away. But the way that I was raised, I had Catholic background. And so I thought, because my dad wasn't saved, he even claimed to be somewhat atheist at the time, excuse me, that he might be burning in hell, right? This is what I believed back then. And so every time I would think about him passing away, I would be sad, right? Because I didn't know if he was suffering, And I think a lot of times we lose somebody in our lives. And at that time, I was not a clairvoyant medium. And I just didn't have a sense of the other side. Hi, Scott. Welcome. Hi, Bob. I think I said hi, Bob, but hi again. So we lose somebody, and then we have our own belief systems about what that means, right? And somebody had written in and said, how do I communicate with a child, with a lost child, with a child that I lost? That's a tough one. Not from it's tough to communicate with them. It's actually not that tough to communicate with them, but it's tough in that when we lose somebody that we love or we care a lot about, and we lose them in the physical form, the physical body is what I'm talking about, and lose, not necessarily talking about breaking up, although that can sometimes have the same amount of grief, right? But when you lose somebody physically, I know for me, I'll speak for me because I don't know what your beliefs are, where you come from. But for a while there, I thought that was the end, right? I thought death was the end. There was a heaven and a hell, and that was it. There was nothing after that. So when you lose somebody and you have that belief system, like I did, it's really hard, right? Because you're thinking about somebody you care about maybe not being in a good place. Maybe they're in purgatory, which is supposedly someplace in between. Hard to think of somebody in your life that way. What I have come to learn, and I hope this contributes to some of you who've lost somebody, is that the body is not the end, right? The death of the body is just the death of the body. The being goes on forever. The being can then choose to get another body if it wants to. You don't have to. There's no requirement, but you can, right? And if you believe in karma, maybe a topic for another day as well. I'm definitely not here to agree with everybody, but I have lots of ways to challenge your belief system. Let's put it that way. So, when I became a clairvoyant medium, pretty much overnight when I turned 30, this was now 12 years after losing my dad. But I had already kind of processed the grief a couple years prior, thanks to hypnotherapy and EFT, who's helped me release the grief that was stuck in my body. But there still was always like this niggling in the back of my mind, like, where is he? What happened to him? Right? So then, fast forward, I become a clairvoyant medium, and suddenly I can see dead people. So, of course, I'm like, where's Dad? Like, why not, right? I'm like, I can see dead people. I can see dead people attached to you. Why can't I, see dead people that I specifically am looking for? And he didn't come when I asked for him. He came, I remember the first time I saw him, he came when I was doing yoga. And I think I was in Shavasana. And he like, when you're laying on your back in Shavasana, you're looking, your eyes are closed, but you're looking up. And he like looked down at me like he was like literally standing over me, looking down at me. And all I can remember, I don't even remember if he said anything or anything like that, but I just remember seeing him smile. And that was such a gift because I knew in his smile, he was at peace. I didn't really talk to him about like, where are you or anything like that. I knew he wasn't suffering and I knew he was at peace. And then I think shortly thereafter, I had this just feeling, I didn't really see him again after that. And then I had this feeling like he reincarnated into another body. So something I've also come to learn over the years has been when you're giving a reading to somebody, maybe you're, I give readings and I do mediumship readings for people. That's not the only kind of reading I do, but that's like, we, talk to people that have passed on. I do that for people. But inevitably, I will always tell somebody before they book an appointment with me that I cannot promise you who you want to talk to is who will show up. And what I've come to understand is that it's because if a being has chosen to reincarnate in a body, they may show up, but they're going to show up a lot fainter. But a lot of times I find that they aren't there. And if they aren't there, I'm just like, they're off living a new life, in a new body. And then sometimes they come in kind of like, looks kind of smoky for me. So I'm just sharing my story, and hopefully this contributes to some of you, but I will also talk about like different ways that you can communicate with them. I'm clairvoyant. That's my strongest one. At this point, I can do all of them. And more than anything, I'd say nowadays I'm clairsentient, which means I just know things. Like I just instinctively know things. But when I first became a clairvoyant, I could see them. I couldn't really understand them. They weren't really talking to me much, but I could see them really clearly. And I could tell people, oh, I see this man. And, some of you may have heard the story, but the first time I found out I was a clairvoyant medium, a man walked into the room and he was tall, thin, sunken eyes, plaid shirt, and I was practicing Reiki on my then fiance. And I explained that to him and he goes, oh, I know exactly who that is. That's Slim, the ranch hand from when I was a kid. And I was like, great, he's still alive? Nope, he's dead. Fabulous, I'm a medium. That's how I found out. And then he even had a dog come visit him and he's like, oh, that's my dog from when I was, and the dog had just wandered off one day and never come back. And he always wondered what happened to his dog. So I have this capacity, but then I can't control who I see and when I see them. So maybe somebody comes to visit you that you're like, I don't know who that is, or I can't, it might be an ancestor from another life that you don't have a cognitive memory of in this life, but they still are following you around, or maybe they're part of your spiritual team. So that can happen too. So a lot of times, not always, but sometimes when somebody close to you dies, they then become one of your spirit guides or your spiritual team. So for me, becoming a clairvoyant medium, I shared this a few weeks back to a class I was teaching, and I challenged everybody to consider that when we have a spontaneous spiritual awakening, or we have a maybe dark night of the soul that leads to a spiritual awakening, that when you have those moments of clarity, which is what a spiritual awakening is, becoming a clairvoyant medium overnight was a spiritual awakening for me. When you have those moments of clarity, and I was guilty of this too. I was like, oh, I have this gift. So now that means I have to give this gift to other people because I have this gift. And now what is the gift that you receive, or your capacity that you receive isn't about that? Now, it doesn't mean you can't do that, but what if it really isn't about that? And I'll be dead set honest with you. Me becoming a clairvoyant medium when I was 30, which was 23 years ago now, wasn't about me doing things for others, or teaching them how to become psychics and mediums and channels and all that stuff. I do that now because it's fun for me. But when I became a clairvoyant medium when I turned 30, that was literally for me to finally be at peace about death. What if the gifts and capacities that you have or that you've tapped into are about you and your own healing process? And it's not that you have to go out and tell everybody that you have this capacity now, or it's not this that you, but you can actually just be at peace and have a healing. And the amount of healing that I got from realizing death wasn't the end, and that the spirit goes on and the body is the only thing that dies. When I went on to then lose another dad, my stepdad, I lost then my grandma, I've lost a few people that were very close to me that I considered amazing people. Was I sad? Absolutely. Did I know that death wasn't the end? Absolutely. So I have a much different experience with death now than I ever had before becoming a clairvoyant medium. It's not the end. So I know some people might be out there, they've lost somebody, they're hurting. The sadness is okay. First and foremost, I just want to encourage you that death is not the end. And even being a clairvoyant medium, I've had my doubts along the way, right? And when my stepdad died, he came immediately to me. My stepdad, just so you guys have a picture, farmer, white hair, white handlebar mustache, one of the kindest men on the planet that I've ever known in my entire life. And when he came to me in spirit form, he had red hair and a red handlebar mustache. And I had never seen him like that. He had always had white hair, white handlebar mustache. My entire 25 years that I had known him. And then at his funeral, they were playing photograph slides. And imagine my surprise when a slide showed up with him with red hair and a red handlebar mustache. So I've had my doubts, but then stuff like that happens. And I'm like, oh, there's no way I could have made that up in my head. I had never seen a picture of him like that. And I didn't know him when he was that young. So I had this experience of connecting with him and then having the confirmation that it was in fact him. A lot of times when I'm giving readings or I'm connecting with somebody who's parted, there'll be some sort of confirmation, like they'll show me a necklace or they'll show me something that makes the other person think. I once gave a reading for this lady who her grandma came in, and her grandma had this perfect white hair. Didn't look like it was perfect. It was so perfect that I was like, did your grandma wear a wig? And the lady started busting out laughing, and she said, no, but my grandmother never had a hair out of place, meaning her hairspray kept it. So it was so perfect it looked like a wig. So those sorts of confirmations have made me go, okay, this is really happening. This is true, right? But that's visually for me. Now, I shared that because I want to encourage you that whatever confirmations you're getting right now are true for you, right? So you might have lost somebody, you might not see them, but you feel them or you smell them. Like having a whiff of somebody, your grandmother's perfume, or just the way your child smelled, right? That's them saying something to you. Now, remember, spirits aren't necessarily back there just jibber jabbering like we do, like I am right now. They're just there sometimes reassuring us that, hey, I'm still here. That, yeah, my body died, and I know you miss me, and I miss you too in the physical form, but I'm right here. I'm not dead. I'm not gone. I'm right here. So when you have that feeling, I mean, it happens all the time, even with people who are alive. You have this thought of somebody, you're like, oh, I was just thinking about so-and-so. And then they pick up the phone and they call you. The same is happening in the spirit realm. Spirit realm is constantly trying to just reassure you and tell you that they're there, that they have your back, that's there to help if you want help, right? That they're there to hold you when you're sad, right? But to remind you that the death of the body is not the end. And if you would like to communicate with them and you've, felt disconnected, just talk to them. It doesn't have to be some sort of formula, or there's no right or wrong way. It's just like you're thinking about them, just start talking to them. Maybe do it in a room that you don't have other people milling about you, or in the mall. You can, but I'm just saying then people might think you're crazy. But that it's not for them, right? The healing and the communication and the connection that we often look for with the people that we care about are for us, right? Me becoming a clairvoyant medium was for me. It wasn't so I could go out there and teach a bunch of people how to do it or what to do with it if it spontaneously happened. And now, I like doing that. But that healing for me had to come from inside. Yeah. I randomly smell cigar smoke. Hi, Senora. Nice to see you. My grandfather smoked cigars. I also smell flower smells like violets, but not sure about that one. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and also keep in mind this, even if you can't put that smell to somebody it doesn't mean that some other random spirit didn't just walk by. Like you have, that's called did I say that? Clairsentient? No, clairsentience is knowing. I can't remember the smell one. But anyway, there is a clair that's for smell. And so you have that gift and ability. You could just be like, oh, I just smell violets. Who's around? And maybe it's somebody you know, but it could just be somebody walking through your house. So there are spirits that are stuck here. I'm not gonna tell you that they all just, move on or go get another body. There's a lot of bodies that die with trauma. So an accident, drug and alcohol abuse, like things that were really traumatic that kind of rip them from their bodies, that don't realize that they're dead, right? That their physical body is dead. So I do a lot of work too of also helping clear spirits that are stuck here that don't realize they don't have a physical body anymore. And it's just reminding them. When I first became clairvoyant medium, I didn't have any like specific tools. I would just be like, hey, do you know you don't have a body anymore? And they're like, oh no, I didn't know that. Like, okay, well, you can move on now. And I'd call on Archangel Michael and help them, move on. That was just what I did. There's other tools nowadays. Talk to the Entities has a whole bunch of great tools. And there's a great book called Talk to the Entities by Shannon O'Hara. Highly recommend that. But it's that, like, just that willingness to be like, oh, I'm aware of something. And Bob's here, his favorite tool, and one of the best ones I know, still to this day, is lower your walls and barriers, even the ones you don't know about. Go ahead and do that with me now. All of you watching now or in the future. Lower your walls and barriers. More. 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 Now expand your awareness out 100,000 miles in all directions. What are you aware of? What do you perceive? There's a lot of beings with bodies and there's a lot of beings without bodies. Some of them know they don't have bodies and some of them don't. There are also other beings, angels, spirit guides, nature spirits, elementals, right? So just allowing yourself to have an awareness of what you are aware of and then acknowledge it. Like, oh, cool. I smelled violets again. Awesome. Every time you acknowledge a gift and capacity, it gets stronger. When you judge it or make it bad or wrong, it actually diminishes. So when you're like, oh, okay, I'm aware of something right now. Maybe just say, I'm aware of something. Maybe I don't know exactly what I'm aware of, but I'm aware of something. Right? Or someone. So maybe you have been wanting to connect with somebody specific. Lower your walls and barriers. Expand your awareness out. And just see if you can feel them. Like when I do this, I don't know who my dad came back as, but I can feel his energy. And I know approximately, I can feel approximately where he is. I have a feeling I know how he came back, who he came back as, but I haven't really asked the question if that's true. My half sister, who I didn't really know, she ended up having a baby boy, and I think that my dad came back as her. But anyway, regardless of who he came back as, it doesn't matter. But I can perceive his energy in California. I'm like, that's interesting. Is there somebody that you've wanted to connect with and you can perceive their energy somewhere? And maybe their energy is right next to you. My dad, who died when I was 18, is in California. My stepdad is right here. And this is a fun little fact. So my stepdad loved baseball. And for a long time after he passed away, I would just randomly start humming or singing, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Until one day I was like, well, I'm not a baseball fan. So I'm not a sports fan, right? So I was like, what? And then I was like, is that you, Walter? And he showed up with a big grin on his face. Right? So every time I have that song in my head, so now I know he's around. So there's little things like that, like your loved ones will let you know. It might be a smell, it might be a song in your head, it might be just that feeling, like you suddenly, like right now I have head to toe chills. So some beings are around me saying, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. When my grandmother, when I was little, she used to always run her fingers through my hair. Like I'd lay my head in her lap and she'd just run her fingers through my hair. It was one of my favorite memories, favorite things. And I could just lay there for hours and she would just run her fingers through my hair for hours. There was just no time, never went away. And I knew the minute that she died and she came instantly to my side. And I was curled up on a chair, crying, grieving, of course, but at the same time, having her sit there with me, running her energetic fingers through my hair. I could feel her. I knew she was there with me. I could see her too. But I'm just saying that because I know sometimes we were like, but I can't see them, or I can't feel them, or I can't, but you still know, right? You do something that used to make them laugh and you can hear their laughter. It's still there. They're still there, laughing with you, enjoying with you. Hello, Andrina. Welcome. So, however they show up, right? So, I got a little emotional when my cat shows up. She's like, oh, I'm going to come take care of you, Mama. So sweet, right? So, but yeah, just that reminder that they're constantly trying to connect with us and let us know that they're around and that you're not alone. And I know this is a sensitive subject, and I just wanted to come with total compassion in my heart for those of you who have lost ones that you're close to. I've lost them too. And just encouraging you to keep going. It will get easier. You never forget, right? They never disappear, but it does get a little bit easier. And to just, focus on those magical times when you can smell them or feel them, or you just know that they're there. Sandra said there was a time when we decided to renovate my grandma's old room, and we literally smelled her all of a sudden. The worker got scared because he felt something too. It was scary. Hello. Yeah. It's not anything to be afraid of. It's just them saying, hey, I'm still here. The physical body is not the end. And it's just such a place where we buy the lie that there's an end. There's not an end. They're still alive. They just don't have that physical body. So we're going to take a really quick break, and then we're going to come back and do a meditation visualization to help connect us with those on the other side. See you soon.
Om Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome forward, everyone. So happy to have you here. And thank you for everybody who has been commenting and engaging. It's nice to know I'm talking to somebody out there. I really do hope this was a contribution to you in some way. If it was, please do your favorite emoji in the comments, that you got something out of this to help you connect, or at least realize that your loved ones are trying to connect to you. Because that's the other thing too. A lot of times they're trying and we're just not listening or paying attention, or we get scared for some reason. There really is nothing to be scared of. Spirits aren't more powerful than you. There's actually nothing and no one more powerful than you. So you can be like, I became a clairvoyant medium and I learned pretty shortly thereafter that I could turn it off. And so I actually turned it off and left it off quite a bit. So you have controls. You have the controls whether it works for you. You have the controls whether it's okay for you. And if it's not okay for you, then they'll stop. They'll go away and they won't bother you. So awesome, Andrina. A pause is great for me right now. I'm open to this energy. That's wonderful. So yeah, we're just gonna do a little guided visualization, something like I like to do at the end of all of our shows, just to help us connect into whatever we're talking about and maybe apply it in some way. So I hope that you enjoy it. Close your eyes, find a comfortable seat. No operating heavy machinery while your eyes are closed. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. And just so you know, your animals often can see, and babies often have no filter, so they can see your loved ones. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. And relax. There's nothing to be afraid of, nothing else you need to do. Just relax and breathe. Just imagine this calm white light pouring down from the heavens, pouring through the crown of your head and over your entire body. This beautiful white, opalescent white light surrounding you, keeping any negativity or darkness or bad entities away from you. Still, there's no one and nothing more powerful than you, and you get to say. But right now, just surrender in this white, beautiful, translucent white light as it wraps you in a cocoon of well-being, love, gratitude, peace, calm, ease. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. And just feel your shoulder blades come down your back. Relax all the way down to your fingertips and your toe tips. Breathe in, exhale out. I'm going to invite you all, this is your choice, but today in this meditation, just for fun, let's lower the walls and barriers, even the ones we don't know about. And with those walls and barriers, I want you to just allow, one of the walls and barriers is the veil. For those of you who don't know what the veil is what keeps us from seeing, perceiving, knowing the spiritual side of things. So if you're ready and you'd like to practice doing that today, just lower that wall and barrier as well. We put the veil up thinking it protects us, but it doesn't protect us, it just keeps us separate. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. And relax. Maybe you lower that veil even more. A little bit more, a little bit more. And what do you see? What do you perceive? Maybe you don't see it, maybe you just feel it. What do you know is there? Who do you know is there? Knowing that any time that if you're uncomfortable, you can stop the process and step away. But you might actually be happy to perceive this person there with you now. Maybe you see them, but maybe you smell them. Maybe you just have this really strong feeling. Sometimes they also touch you. So you might feel like there's a hand on your shoulder. Or maybe they used to do something silly with you, or something like my grandmother did with running her fingers in my hair. just allow your body to become a sensory organ where it can show you so many things through how it feels, what it feels, through the smells. Maybe you can hear a song. Maybe the song comes from outside your head, or maybe it comes from inside your head. Breathe in, exhale out, and relax. And maybe when you see them, all you want to do is just give them a big hug. Tell them that you miss them, that you wish they were still here in a physical form. But allow this meeting, this greeting with this loved one, or maybe multiple loved ones, to be healing for you. And then they have something they would like you to know. And again, maybe you hear it. Maybe it's like they're just talking to you like they used to. Or maybe it's just this knowing. Maybe you even see somebody that you didn't expect to see. Maybe it wasn't the person that you went looking for per se, but it was somebody else that was close to you at one point in your life. Thank them for coming. And like I said, if you have this really strong desire to just hug them, give them a hug. Let them hug you back. Sometimes a hug is all we need. If there's one person there with you, just having a conversation, receiving their messages. If there's multiple people there, maybe each one has something they want to say to you. Or maybe they just have a gift for you. And this gift may make sense now. It might be based on something that reminds you of them from the past. Or it may be an introduction to a confirmation coming in the not too distant future. Just receive the information or the gift or the awareness. And if it makes sense now as a confirmation, great. If maybe it's a confirmation later, that's also great. Breathe in, exhale out. And relax. Just observe if maybe you got a little uncomfortable and the veil and the wall started to go back up. That's okay. There's no right or wrong here, good or bad. And if you'd like to play with it a little bit more, you can lower the walls and barriers in the veil again. Maybe you can lower it even more. If you lowered your walls and barriers in the veil even more, what could you perceive? No. And receive. And if tears come or sadness comes up, or you're just touched by that message or that information, or that feeling, it's okay. Just let it flow. Sadness only sticks us when we don't let it flow. When we try to control it, contain it, instead of just being in the moment. It can be tears of joy, it can be tears of sadness, it could be laughter, it might make you laugh. It might remind you of something that you did that was silly one time. Breathe in, exhale out. Maybe a new being, maybe it's a person, maybe it's an animal. They're here to just give you some love, acknowledgement. Maybe there's somebody that died that you have something incomplete with. That's okay too. Let this be a time where you let yourself get complete. Tell them what you needed to tell them while they were alive. Receive what they want you to know now. Breathe in, exhale out. Whatever your experience is right now, or whatever your experience was when they were alive, I invite you to, if it wasn't pleasant when they were alive, I invite you to have forgiveness in your heart. I also invite you to have forgiveness in your heart if maybe you feel that they left you when they died. My dad died. I know part of why he died was because he wanted to leave me money to go to college, because he didn't have any money to help me go to college. And he died 2 weeks after I went to college. His way of being able to take care of me for a little longer. I would have much rather have had my dad, and I'm grateful for his gift to me. When they were alive, what was the gift that they were in your life? Did they make you laugh? What did you learn from them? What adventures did you have together? What moments of peace and serenity did you have? What challenges did you have that you grew from, or they grew from? Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. And relax. And lower the walls and barriers of the veil even more. There's nothing to be afraid of. No one and nothing is more powerful than you. Maybe there's ancestors that you're aware of, maybe your spiritual team, maybe a loved one that you are quite ready to meet, or quite ready to see or perceive. Breathe in, exhale out. Just allow there to be healing there too. Maybe connect with them, maybe hug them, maybe forgive them, whatever it is for you. Breathe in, exhale out. Again, maybe it's just a tingling on your shoulder, or tingling on your hand. Something I like to do when I feel a being is close by, whether it's my spiritual team, maybe one of my loved ones that passed on, is I'll just put my hand upturned in my lap. And inevitably, almost every time I perceive somebody near me and I do this gesture, I suddenly feel their hand in my hand. It's not explainable to the cognitive mind, but you can feel it. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. I want you to thank all of the loved ones that came to see you today, that for the messages and the gifts and the confirmations that you received. whether through their touch or their smell. Just that deep knowing. Breathe in, exhale out. And acknowledging yourself for stepping beyond the veil and beyond the walls and barriers, just for a moment. Even the recognition that you can now do that. Breathe in, exhale out. Maybe do a stretch. Put your hands together. Opening your eyes. Thank you, everyone, for being here for that. I really hope it was a contribution to some of you. If it was, if you got something out of that, or you'd like to acknowledge who you got a visit from, I'd love to hear it in the comments. You can comment below. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day. Bye.